All right. What's happening, good people? So I'm here with Sahar 3 of Entrepreneur to Entrepreneur, the real estate blueprint. So, cheers, man. Cheers.
Cheers to you, my brother.
All right. Big
That's
shout
really
out
good.
to Ziggy for holding us down today.
Yes, young man.
So, man, I gotta go straight to the point. We started catching up, and you immediately started going in. But you said, "Hey, if you want to become a millionaire, like take it from me." And what did you say?
Yeah, so we were talking about people becoming successful, right?
Right.
And people aspiring to become wealthy and become millionaires or even billionaires, right? And so many mentors out there, right? So Than Merrill and the guys from Fortune Builders, Grant Cardone, all of these guys, right? The number one thing they say is if you want to be a millionaire, then surround yourself with millionaires. Hell, go and work for one of those guys, right? Go and work for them and learn and understand what they do day in and day out, right? Don't let pride get in the way. There's nothing wrong with understanding what these great successful guys do and gals, right? There's a lot of female entrepreneurs. So yeah, I think that's where we kind of left it off. You know what I mean? If you want to be successful, surround yourself with successful people. Surround yourself with the people that you want to emulate and be, or go and work for them, right? And so you can be around them.
Right. Witness the behaviors.
Exactly.
Their discipline, their lifestyle.
Yeah, the discipline, the way that they conduct themselves in public, the way they conduct themselves in meetings, how they engage people off site and on site. Because as well as I do that the show never stops, right? It's always on. It's always
never
on.
stops. so man, that's a great segue to get us in here, man. Welcome. Welcome. So I met Sahar back in 2000, I want to say 17.
Yeah.
We're both members of Fortune Builders.
We are.
And as you stated, they put our boots on.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And so it gave us a great foundation of the broad spectrum of real estate, but they also pencil in on the different areas of focus and in quite detail to empower us.
Absolutely.
Gotcha. So what got you inspired to actually take their class?
Man, how much time we got? Because it's a long one, and for some of my students that have already, I was going through a very dark period in my life. I was working for a corporation, I won't say who, for 11 years. And like most people, I self-identified based off of my career and my job, right? And the last 18 months of my career there were some of the hardest and darkest months of my life, to where I became very sick, and I to the point to where I even thought about even ending my life. You know what I mean? It was pretty bad. And I was looking, and I for a competitor or something of that nature, and none of those things really seemed to align with what my values were. And I heard a radio commercial, right? Mr. Than Merrill speaking on the radio,
Yeah.
and I don't know what came over me, but I was like possessed. Put the damn number down. I called, got my free weekend in. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And I went, and from there, I went to their 3-day event, and I Black speak. Do you remember Jeremy Black?
Mm-hmm.
Dude.
The long surfer boy.
Yes, bro. Right.
He got that Fabio hair like you do, bro.
But my Fabio hair came after him, right? So I gotta give it to Black for hooking me up on that on the do. But
that's funny.
But man, he set me on fire. The guy just lit me up, and I was like, that is what I'm after, and from that point on, I went all in. I decided to just invest in myself and create a business. And by the grace of God, I had a very successful couple of deals. It got me to essentially fire my boss, right, and to leave that corporate gig. And it took some time, and there was a lot of sleepless nights where I was like, holy shit, what did I just do? I just invested all this money. Like, how am I going to pay for food this week? You know what I mean? Like all these things. But nothing comes without fear. A little bit of fear. Fear should be a motivator. You know what I mean? In the middle of the night to go, and do better than the next guy. So that's what got me interested, just based off of his message and really the whole Fortune Builders community. And it's very special, you know what I mean? Like all those guys and what they built for themselves is not just about having a business, but a legacy, man. You know, so
I can dig it. I'm part of that. I'm part of that.
Yes,
so,
you are. Yes.
Yeah. So I had a guy named Antonio Lisenby. He was on here as well. He was. We were actually business partners when we came into Fortune Builders. Did you come in by yourself?
I did. Yeah, I came in by myself, and I mean, I just came in on my own, but it didn't feel like I was alone.
Okay, right.
You know, because as you know, right, that community is so tight. You know, like out of the gate, I felt like I had a team behind me. Because,
support.
Yeah, because of all the coaches and everything there, which is a lot like what you're offering now to your students. You know, like, you know, while they may understand the value, I don't think they truly understand the value yet. Because man, like having somebody like you to be able to edify the process and to take them under their wing. And we got Ziggy here, who's 19 years old, soaking up all this damn knowledge, right? Like, by the time he's our age, bro, like, we're going to be working for him. You know what I'm saying?
I can see that. Hey, but you ain't going to be disrespecting me, though. I'm daddy. Nah, but
we got a camera for his reactions right there.
But no, seriously, though, that's the truth, though, in the sense of, like, the progression and the mindset you know, for everything. Now, tell us about yourself. Like, you know, I know you as an investor, colleague. I always see you at networking events and in class.
Yeah.
I always see you in class, whether it's Vegas, Arizona, LA. But obviously you were part of the Fortune Builders teaching program.
Yes.
So you're a family man. Yeah, you just had a new baby. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Like, tell us about yourself.
Yeah, thank you. So, well, first and foremost, I want to preface it by saying, man, thank you for having me on this show. I love what you're doing here. I think it's amazing. Congratulations on all your success.
I appreciate it. Quit congratulating me.
No, I'm not going to.
I told you to congratulate me when I make some money.
I'm never going to stop. I'm never going to stop, man, right? We got to appreciate, you know, the people that are out there putting good stuff. So you're one of those warriors, man. So good stuff. But, yeah, you know, I'm a father first, you know, husband. And, you know, I would say I'm a serial entrepreneur third, because my second passion is music, right? As you know, right? Being a musician yourself, you know, so say father and husband first and musician second and real estate entrepreneur third. You know, I've been investing in real estate now. You know, I don't like to use the term full-time or part-time. I just say all the time, you know?
I mean,
right?
When the deal's there,
all the time, right?
Investing.
You just never turn it off, man.
Yes,
so for the last 5 years, it's been a huge focus for me, and it's been amazing. You know what I mean? Had a lot of ups and downs and lefts and rights and A/B start select, you know, and having to reset that button again and again. But you know, this business is not one for the weak-hearted, right? You know, the weak-minded. You gotta stick through it. But
yeah. So what currently, what are you doing in the real estate business?
So my focus, especially year, man, right? You know, COVID 2020.
It's like tripled,
and you can't get it for like 3 weeks. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, it's just bananas right now, right? You know, so it's.
But real estate is selling at a premium right now,
dude. At such a top dollar, it's insane, right? No doubt about that. You know, my business is last 12 to buy and hold strategies, and really.
So when he says buy and holds, he's referring. He has shifted from either wholesaling and or flipping into rental properties.
Yep.
And some of us may. Or I try to.
Okay, gotcha.
Dumb it down, you know, for everybody can kind of like comprehend.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'll break that down then. So, you know, really, you know, focused on the passive side of the business. So this is holding residential and commercial real estate, right? You know, and part of what I've done is also create, if you will, kind of a concierge service for clients that are interested in doing that. So, for example, you know, we have a opportunity zone asset downtown that we're doing a seller finance deal on, right? And this is a great opportunity because, you know, lenders right now, banks are all kinds of crazy and unwilling to take the risks that they were pre-COVID. So we did a seller finance transaction on this deal. It's great. I'm under the process of refinancing it now with a traditional lender, but a great asset for people to be able to invest capital gains into and shelter their capital gains for the next 7 years.
Got you.
You know, so things like that, you know, is what I'm really focused on.
Just to pause there, when he says You said basically you said what did you call the asset?
The opportunity zone.
No, not opportunity zone, but you basically stated that it was
like a buy and hold.
No, it was a buy and hold, but seller finance.
Seller finance.
So when he says that a property is seller financed, basically he's saying that he is selling it, but the fashion in which he's selling it is a rent to own style.
Yep.
So basically, an investor is buying the property from him, but they have a length of maybe, let's say, 3 years to give him monthly payments. And by that third year, they have to buy it all in lump sum, or he gets the property back.
Correct.
So it's basically like a rent to own agreement,
yep.
But that's the seller finance deal in the sense of investing in with investors.
It's exactly right. Yeah. And so, we still have a couple of flips, in the pipeline. We have a new construction project that we had done in Fountain Square that's under contract right now, scheduled to close soon.
That was ground up?
Yeah, it was ground up project. Yeah,
okay.
Nightmare, but it was okay. And then we've got a historical project down there as well that we've been renovating. We finally got approvals through the IHPC, so that's been something interesting. That's a cool thing about this business is that, like, never assume that you know everything, right? Because you always learn, right? Always learn it, man, right? So, my primary focus is to build a service around rental income, right? For in-state and out-state investors, right? So because there's a huge need for it, and Indiana, as you know, right, is one of the best markets to be in. You know what I mean? For people that are out-of-state investors, property taxes at 1%. So if you tell somebody like in California or New York that, they're
Texas.
like, what? Or Texas, right? They're like, what? Let me write a check right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So what he's saying is this. He is focusing on buying rental properties and basically making them turnkey.
Yep.
To where he finds the property, he rehabs it, and then he puts a tenant in it, and then puts it on the market for to other investors all across the country.
Yep.
So that an investor that's in California, New York, or somewhere out of state, they basically get a product that's, as soon as they purchase it, it's making cash.
Turnkey.
He will be able to add a premium to that because there's a luxury to that. Are you managing the property as well?
Yeah, so that's the other component of it. So, with COVID hitting the everything and every profit center that we had, Airbnb got rocked here in Indianapolis and everything else. My business partner, who is actually in New York, what's up, Eddie? If you're listening, but we decided to hunker down and create our own property management company, right?
Gotcha.
And so we terminated our contract with the existing property management companies that we were working with, and we went completely in-house.
About how many properties do you have, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, so we have 38 that we control right now and manage.
Gotcha.
That's
outstanding.
And we did that in 12 months. So
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
So we just shifted our mindset, and towards the end of last year, we decided, hey, we don't want to work so hard for this money anymore. Flipping is awesome, as you know, right? And you could make large chunks of money on it. But until you have a large team and can automate that process, it's exhausting. You know what I mean? Wholesaling is great too, but it isn't always sustainable, especially in markets like Indianapolis, where you have, every corner is like, San Francisco with a Starbucks. You got a freaking wholesaler on every fucking corner, and it's like, and half of them don't know what the hell they're talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Man,
right?
So I tell that to my students when we go to class, because I tell them, I market basically a repair cost estimate class every Saturday. And so when they come,
pay attention to that too.
Yeah, when they come, a lot of times they feel like, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
I thought we were going to learn about wholesaling. But the truth is, to be able to identify a deal correctly, you really need to understand how to estimate the repairs.
Bro, 1,000%.
But I told them this week, when you have all the wholesalers that you're talking about everywhere, they'll send you some shit like the house costs $50,000, repairs are $50,000, and the ARV is $150.
They can't justify anything.
Exactly. And the ARV basically means the after repair value, meaning what the house will be worth after you flip it. So if the repairs are $50,000 and closing cost is $5,000, basically you have the opportunity to make $45,000 when they email you that deal. But I told my students to itemize the repairs.
Yep.
So when you send somebody, send them the pictures of the property, but say, hey, the repairs are 60,000. The roof is going to be $6,000. HVAC is going to be 45. The flooring is going to be 46,000 with labor. Like break it down.
Yep.
Therefore, if I see that, and as you know, we're getting tons of deals, that gives us the opportunity to really like look at the detailed lines and just that improves our credibilities as a
100%.
Yeah. So
it makes me want to do business with you.
And I told them that, and if they get a property off you, they're going to continuously come back because they're going to know that you done your due diligence prior to giving them that deal. So, I mean, I appreciate you for tapping in on that, but I tell them that's why I do the class, so that you can see what it really takes to identify a deal. Because every house is distressed, but every house doesn't have the same amount of margin.
Exactly right.
You know, every house is not a deal. So no, I'm good with that.
That's awesome. And you know, and somebody who's numbers oriented that doesn't understand the market, they're going to appreciate that level of detail and have more confidence in you as a wholesaler.
Yes.
Right, because you're peeling back the onion and going deep, right?
Yes.
You're going all those layers. And you know, I always, you know, with your students and with my students, I've always told them that, you know, if you can provide the answers to the test ahead of time, then you've already won.
Yeah.
Or you already passed. You know what I mean? Like, just provide the answers to the damn test ahead of schedule, and you won't have to worry about, well, you told me that this is going to cost $50,000 to repair. Why? Well, the roof is going to be, how do you know that?
Answer the question before you get the question, and you'll make a lot of money.
Amen. Amen.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So you have 33 homes. You're obviously like shifting your business mission. What is the ultimate like goal for you in
Ultimate
real estate?
goal.
Yeah.
In real estate?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, my ultimate goal is to be able to stand on street corners with my kids when I'm old and gray and show them entire city blocks that I've changed. Right, you know, that's
different.
That's what I want to. That's what I want to be able to do with them. And that may be kind of selfish and greedy, but I mean, you know, ultimately, I want to leave a legacy behind for my family. Right, you know, I didn't grow up super wealthy. I mean, my brother and I were never without. You know, my parents always provided because they hustled their asses off. You know what I mean? But I want to be able to, you know, when my daughters are graduating from high school, turn over 10 properties to them for them to manage. Gotcha. When they graduate college, should they choose to, hand them another 10 for them to manage. When they get married, right, and just grow and show them, you know, what it's like to live free, right, and not be, you know, subjected to just having to work a job, right? Still want them to understand the value of a dollar and working, but change their outlook on the world and be able to experience the world. You know what I mean?
I get it.
Yeah.
So I have 2 daughters, but mine are. I'm on the
girl dads, bro. Any of you boys watching will kill you if you come near our kids.
Grab the strap. All right, so check it out. My daughters are 17 and about to be 19, basically. So I'm a single father. I co-parent well with their mom, but you know, like we get calls random times. There's no such thing as overtime. We're always on time.
Always on time.
So, you know, for me, one thing that helped my household and my relationship with my kids was, you know, you're a serial entrepreneur. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I have her hair company. I have Virgin Hair Fix. I have about 6 companies.
Yeah.
But, you know, some of them are up and down. Some of them are up. Some of them are down. Despite that, there's a lot of time that you have to put into your team.
Yep.
You know, and sometimes you have to be a technician and you actually have to do the work.
Amen.
And so you can't be the entrepreneur, sit back and just, you know, oversee. Sometimes you got to get your hands dirty.
Exactly right.
So, you know, time could be an issue.
Yep.
So what I did was sit down with my daughters and you know, because they'll it's an open dialogue in my house. They could talk to me, I could talk to them, and they'll let us know, like, Dad, we haven't seen you all week. You get home at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. And so you try your best to balance that, but it could be tough because, you know, you're investing into what we see as a brighter future, but time is not always promised either.
That's right.
Therefore, there has to be a balance. And so I try to do that, but I had that conversation.
Yeah.
As you know, I don't have 33 properties. For passive income, I have 18, but like that's way more than I, had when as a kid.
Right. When
and my mom did her best, but she set me up to be in this position.
Right.
Now I'm setting my kids to be setting up my kids to be in a better position.
And that's what it's about.
So how do you balance work and life?
Balance work and life, man. And I'll preface it by saying that I'm best at it. Like I have my flaws.
I love it, man. It's real.
I would be lying if I sat here and said that I was the perfect dad and I had this schedule all figured out, because the reality of the situation is that in this business it's ebbs and woes and it can be great, really high highs and really low lows. I do the best that I can, right? I make sure that I am present for my oldest daughter, for all of her activities, ballet, gymnastics, whatever. On my days that I would consider my days off, right? Because I mark specific days off on my calendar where I just disconnect to pick her up from school, take her to school, and be there for her. Now having a baby, you know what I mean? Like figuring out what that's like. Today I had to watch my youngest for most of the day, and that was the first time that I've done that in a long time, right? And I was like, wow, I just realized today, that I've been missing out probably on a bunch because I've been so focused on, I got to build this legacy and this empire for my kids so they don't have to work as hard as I did. And that way, when they're older, I can just enjoy my time off with them and do the things that they want to do, like passing that down to them. So, I'm still learning, what I'm saying? And and I'm deeply flawed. I am deeply, deeply flawed. And I probably won't figure it out until the day that I'm laying on my deathbed. I mean, that's just the reality of it. You know what I'm saying? People ask me questions and they're just like, well, how, what's your greatest success? What's your greatest failure? What's this? What's that? And I'm like, well, fuck, dude, I'm only 5 years into this. I don't know.
Right.
Ask me in 20 years.
Got you.
Because I still got a shit ton of work to do. You know what I mean? Right.
Got you.
I just do, man. But I'm intentional about my time. I will say that.
Okay.
I'm intentional about my time, meaning that I am not afraid to tell somebody no if it doesn't fit into correlation of what it is that I want to do, how it fits my goals, if it edifies and amplifies my family goals, right? And aligns with who I am as an individual. So when you called me, I was just like, well, it's about damn time. Because I've been meaning to get some fucking food with you. Like, you're sitting here talking about all this food with Michael on your previous podcast. I'm like, I'm a 500-pound man in this body, dude. I can put some food away.
That's fucking hilarious.
Let's go eat. You know what I'm saying? But you know what? I'll settle for some Angel's Envy, right? And to be able to talk to you in front of everybody online. So,
hey man, I appreciate you, man. So, what's the biggest tip that you've ever received? You have met. I told Ziggy today to look up what Stan Smurl's worth was.
Yeah.
He was like, what?
Yeah.
Not the football player? Yeah, the football
player. Yes, yeah. The Bears.
And I was like, it's 4 of them. That's worth that.
Yeah.
And so, we've been surrounded by great guys.
Yep.
And guys that are not just, great individuals, but they're like high level geniuses.
Dude, so smart. Crazy smart
with the gift of gab and the interpersonal skills.
Yeah.
So those are dangerous people in a good way.
In a very good way.
Yeah. So what's the best tip somebody ever gave you about real estate?
Man, I would say the best tip that I ever received, and a lot of good ones, let me tell you that first and foremost, because I've been blessed by having so many great people in my life and still in my life, you know what I mean? But was the value of authenticity, right? Don't bullshit, right? Just if you don't know, if you can't perform, if you can't do this, or if you've made a mistake, just own it and just be you. You know what I mean? Be who you are, right? You know what I mean? I walk into real estate transactions and business meetings all the time where jeans and a t-shirt and tattoos and long hair and if they don't want to do business with me, then all right, fine. This is who I am. If you can't get behind, like past the look, then we don't need to be doing business together.
Got you, man. That shit suave though, bro. You got this Fabio. That shit suave.
But it's the value of authenticity, and that's in anything, man. In real estate transactions, right? When I deal with wholesalers, specifically because you're talking about wholesaling, right? That I always share with them is dude, be 1,000,000% transparent. Mm-hmm. Like, quit the bullshit and just tell me what your intention is. Like,
you actually earn trust.
You do
when you tell somebody that
exactly
I failed,
right.
Because it's like, it's very rare for somebody to say that I failed. So it's just like that. Like,
or just tell me that you're going to wholesale it. Like if your job is wholesaling it and you're planning on taking it to the next, to the next buyer or whatever, then be real about that and share with that, right? You know what I mean? Or if you've only been a real estate investor for a short period of time, don't go posting a bunch of stupid shit on Facebook and Instagram about, I'm living in this high rise downtown and, right. I'm so cool and this and that and the other, and you only have $500 in your bank account. You know what I mean? Like, I can't stand that. It drives me absolutely nuts. And that's why, I probably just don't post on social media as much as maybe I should. But
so you probably look at my shit, be like, damn, I'm drowning in this content.
I love what you do, man. You know what I mean? But like, I look at some of these guys that are influencers, and I forget who said it, but I love the statement of, hustle quietly and hustle so hard that they seek your employment, right? When they're struggling, right? They're looking to work for you, and that resounded to me. And so, a couple months ago, I decided, you know what, I'm just not going to put everything that I'm doing on blast. And ever since I've done that, like, dude, I'm locking up apartments downtown that are in opportunity zones. We've got opportunities all across the country right now, family units, single family units, whatnot. And some of them we're able to perform on, which is great. But being authentic is huge. You know what I mean? And people will appreciate that about you. Like, hey, I don't know what I don't know. I'll be the first one to admit that, right? Like, no, don't ask me a question about how to buy a retail supercenter. No fucking clue. Like, don't ask me. Like, I will steer you in the direction of somebody who does know. Correct. But like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh well, I'm awesome and I've been doing this. Or like, no thanks, man. You know what
Gotcha.
I mean? Yeah.
Now, when I first met you, I met you and your dad.
Yeah.
Your dad was doing contracting, correct? Mm-hmm. Are you guys still working together?
We are. Yeah. Okay. My dad still does the contracting side of the business and still deeply involved in that. You know what I mean? What's been interesting, what's been great, if this year 2020 hasn't done anything for people, it's definitely taught them how to pivot.
Not everybody has shifted, man,
and not everybody has. That's absolutely right.
And where we monetize as entrepreneurs, the American dream is based off the American failure.
It is. 1,000%.
So when people fail, our job is to solve that problem.
Yep.
And monetize off the problem.
I love that. 1,000%. Because you asked me what to describe myself, and I've been asked that multiple times, and I usually compartmentalize myself into, number one, I'm a problem solver, and number two, I'm a transactional engineer. You know what I mean? When I go into business meetings, right?
There it is.
So if you can figure out how to solve problems, especially in this day and age and in this this year, you'll always be in business and you'll always be successful. And so my father and I have reevaluated how our construction side of the company works, and we're like, you know what? Forget rehabs. We can go do a retail basement and remodel a basement for somebody who's been quarantined for the last 6 months, who's been looking at the four walls of their house and going, well, I've always wanted to finish my basement. And now's the time to do it.
I did the same thing.
Right. And we're making just as much profit, if not more, turning a basement in a couple of weeks as it is then to flip a house that might take, 5 months.
So Ziggy, you asked that earlier. You was just like, yo, like, how much do contractors really make? Well, he's telling you right now, like, he's been just as profitable doing services for others with less risk and
other people's money still.
There it is. OPM.
Yeah.
So that's dope. Have you and your dad ever had rough patches?
Oh, absolutely. My dad's 22 years retired military, first of all.
Gotcha.
You know,
so you got like 1, 2 chance, 2 or 3 chances. He's in your ass, bro.
Yeah, oh, dude, like not even 1 or 2. It's like 1, and then right, you know. But man, I love my dad. My dad, he's a great guy, and he's put a lot on his shoulders for my brother and myself and my family. Have we had rough patches? Absolutely. You know, my dad served the military for 22 years and was gone for a long period of time. I mean, you know, when Desert Storm was around, he was literally first one in, first one out, or last one out, I should say. So I didn't see him for almost like a year and a half.
Gotcha.
You know, when I was like 8 or 9 years old. So like, here comes this guy home with a mustache, and I'm like, who the fuck is this guy?
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? And then like, he would just be gone all the time on operations and stuff. And he would always tell me when he would leave, because I was the oldest, you know, he's like, you're the man of the house. You know, while I'm gone, you watch over your mom and you watch over your brother. And if anybody comes over here, you know, you fuck them up and blah, blah, blah. Right. Like, he put that on me. And so when he would come home, it was like alpha to alpha. You know what I mean? It was like, well, wait a minute, I'm the man of the house. No, you're the man of the house, right? You know what I mean? So
I've been doing this shit, bro. Chill.
Right, yeah. So, you know, my dad and I, our relationship dynamically, I would say, became really good and solid. Not until I was actually like moving out of the house and going to college. You know what I mean? And so since then, it's been great. You know, he's been my sounding board and shoulder to cry on when things haven't been going right, and somebody just to celebrate my victories with as well, man. You know, but you know, he's hilarious, and every, if you ever met my dad, you know, he looks like Robert De Niro and sounds like Ricardo Montalban, right?
That's funny.
So you know, you got like 2 mafiosos in one, right?
That's funny. All right, real quick, man, make sure that you join entrepreneur-to-entrepreneur.com and sign up for the wholesale course. I'm giving you your first 30 days for free, basically, by using the code CASHFLOW. Again, use the code CASHFLOW and you get 30 days for free. And basically, you'll get a lot of the tools that, you know, will teach you how to acquire, and you'll see my step-by-step process on how I get deals. I'm giving you everything. You also get a private Zoom call with me once a week. We don't advertise that because it's only for paid students. And so we do that, and we basically, it's a Q&A, a weekly Q&A where basically you get mentorship and access to myself in helping you with different issues. You also listen to other people's progress and successes and failures. Therefore, you could benefit and leverage their, you know, hardship and or success stories. So one thing I also want to say is make sure that you text me at the number below. It's, you know, right below, and I'll ask basically Sahar any of the questions that you have. This guy is brilliant, so make sure that you take advantage of it right now. We got about 5 more minutes in questions, and then I'm gonna actually like turn the questions to you guys. If you're on my Instagram, I am gonna have to cut off my Instagram, so you have to tune in to my Facebook. You can find me at Facebook at Eric Armstrong, basically, and tune in. So now, what would you tell somebody? I mean, what do you tell people when they go to your classes and they have no experience? What are the top 2 things that they should focus on? Because I mean, that's like the world's question.
Yeah,
because everybody wants to do real estate. They know real estate is the way.
Yeah,
but there's so many avenues in real estate. So give me 2 things that we could give the people that they could kind of like hone in on.
I love this question. Thank you. I mean, I get asked this a lot, and dude, I love what you're doing. First and foremost, I want to say, like, guys, take advantage of this guy's knowledge. If you haven't, you need to. It's incredible what this man has accomplished in his life, and dude, I'm so like in awe of you. Like, I was looking at your hair salon, and I'm like, oh, this is amazing, right? You know, so thank you for having me. This is really cool.
No doubt.
2 things to focus on. Being brand new to the industry. So in real estate specifically, right, as you know, like there's so many things that you could be enamored by, right? I could do all these things. I could wholesale, I could flip, I could buy rental properties, I could do this, I could do that. You have to be the master of one before you can branch out and start, you know, really gobbling up everything else. So figure out what it is that you're going to be passionate about and dominate that, right? Like, I love Grant Cardone's speech about dominate your space. You know what I mean? And so it's different for everybody.
I'm not familiar with that speech.
Oh, man.
Summarize that shit.
Yeah. So basically, in a nutshell, if you're in zip code 46032, like anybody coming into zip code 46032 needs to know who the fuck you are.
Gotcha.
Right? You know what I mean? Like your face, your brand needs to be everywhere. Like, damn, like who's this Eric Armstrong guy? Like, what is going on with him? Why is he on why do I see Trump and Biden signs and Eric Armstrong right next to every single one? Right?
I'm working on that.
Right? You know what I mean? So like dominate that sphere so anybody coming into your territory knows that this is your house. You know what I mean?
Got you.
And it's different for everybody. Somebody coming into the business with not a whole lot of money, wholesaling might be the perfect solution for them. But is that for everybody? Absolutely not, right? I was coaching a group of students out of California, very wealthy, making $70,000 a month passively from their current business, right? I'm like, why the fuck would you want to, pardon my French, I cuss a lot, but honest people cuss a lot,
real.
Right?
Why? Hey, that's a good one. I'm gonna use that. Honest people cuss a lot.
We do, right? If Lisa Ann Claire is on here, she knows what I'm talking about. But
that's funny.
They were talking to me about flipping houses and rehabbing houses and wholesaling, and I'm like, why on earth would you do that? Like, you guys have got $1 million to play with. Be a lender. Put your money to work and like lend your money out and be a private lender and set it up as maybe even a hard money lending, campaign, right? Like get an attorney, strike up the forms, like all those, charge points, charge interest, and make your money work for you. And they're just like, oh man, that's amazing,
So what he means by that is if you are somebody who has a 9-to-5 and you do well doing what you do,
yeah.
Like you said, the guy was making $70,000
a month.
And he had about $1 million in reserve in his savings. So you don't have to quit your job to do real estate. You could literally take that $1 million, or let's say half of it, whatever you could afford to lose, but you'll never lose because of how the loans are backed.
Yep.
But you could come to me and say, hey, Eric, I have $100,000 and I want 10% back per every time I lend it to you. And so I'm basically going to, borrow the $100,000, use it for a project, and I'm going to be giving you 10% back per month, on the APR back to you. So like, let's say my project takes, 5 months and my payment to you is $900 a month. Basically every month that I have your money, I'm giving you $900 a month until I close, and then I pay you your lump sum back. So
plus interest.
Yeah. So, and then you could do that multiple times, different ways. And now you could be earning basically passive income and be investing without having to jeopardize your current, income at your job.
Exactly right.
So that's what becoming a private money lender is, and that's what he was referring to.
Yeah. So being focused and knowing what works for you, I would say would be number one, right? And then number two, let me think about this. There's so many good number twos. Number two, I would say, be right all the time. And what I mean what I mean by that is you will be influenced all the time by external factors. The people that you trust, that you enable to work on the behalf of your company, on your business, whatever, won't always have the answers. Trust yourself first.
Okay.
Even if it's wrong, be right all the fucking time.
Gotcha. But own your shit when you fuck
own
up.
that shit, right? Yeah,
Gotcha.
Exactly right. Because I don't know how many times that I've had an architect or a draftsman or a contractor or an investor or this or that has said, oh, you should be doing this with this deal, or you should be doing that with this deal, or this is how you should approach it, and it ends up being the wrong call, and I listen to them. And the only person I have to blame is myself, where I knew that I should have gone a different direction and I should have trusted myself more. So those are the two things I would say. Number one, understand where you're at and what strategy in real estate makes the most sense for you.
Got you.
And number two, be right all the fucking time.
Got you. Yeah. Do you read?
Oh, I love to read.
Got you. What? Give us like 2 books, bro. Give us 2 books.
2 books. Why only 2? I could give you 200. Shit.
Give us just a little something.
One book that I would always recommend, I read this book probably every single year, would be Traction by Gino Wickman. Especially for this podcast, right? The Real Estate Blueprint. I am not the blueprint. Let me say that first and foremost, right? I have made a lot of mistakes, and I will continue to make mistakes for the rest of my life, and that's okay. Any successful entrepreneur will tell you that. But Traction literally will give you a blueprint to be a scalable business. And what I mean by that is that if you want to do $500,000 in your first year, it gives you a roadmap to that. $1 million the second year, 5 million the fifth year. Stuff like that. Gino talks about the entrepreneurial management system, EMS, and how incredible that could be for you. So I would recommend reading that book. The second book that I would probably lean on the most, this is a toss-up. I would say Ego is the Enemy by Ryan Holiday.
Gotcha.
Ego is the Enemy. That book is incredible, and I love how Ryan Holiday puts it together, because no matter what's going on in your life, good, bad, indifferent, whatever, at the end of the day, nobody gives a shit except for you. And you got to put the ego completely aside if you truly want to be successful in this world and in this business, right? And that's why you see billionaires and whatever seeking that enlightenment. You know what I mean, right? To be like the Dalai, to be like these Buddhist monks, man. You know what I mean? Because they figured it out, But yeah.
Gotcha.
Does that help? I don't know. I'm just kind of.
No, that's beyond.
The envy is kicking in a little bit here, so yeah.
That's funny. All right, so I don't have any questions on my end from
None?
my people. Man, I'm shocked, man. You know what I mean?
They don't like me. That's what happened. Yeah.
Give me 1 second.
No, you're good.
Man, so I had a couple people say it was freezing on them. So was your connection freezing, Ziggy? Gotcha. You think it's the thing? The little thing, the little bar thing? Yeah, a couple people said it was freezing.
Okay.
I don't know, you know what I mean? Man, let me go to my people. Man, so what would you ask yourself that I didn't ask?
Oh my gosh.
To conclude, yeah.
I don't know. I have no idea what I would ask myself. I've never had that question, man. So I guess I'll ask you what's happening outside of this adventure. Talk to me more about entrepreneur to entrepreneur and
we reverse psychology.
Yeah,
this boy.
and your program and why should people sign up?
Got you. And so originally I'm gonna tell you the why.
Yeah.
So when obviously, like you said, the banks and everybody went berserk when Corona came, and so the lending paused from my lenders and a lot of other different lenders on the construction loans side of things. So it was one of those things to where I had some projects going, so those could keep going, and then I was idle for like 3 to 4 months until like they start opening up, and then they changed their parameters.
Oh yeah. So
that didn't help either, and so it was just a situation to where I have her hair company, I have the hair sales, I have the salon, but I really had to think about what skill set that I have that others could benefit from.
Yeah.
And that would empower me.
Yeah.
So there's no network meetings, there's no classes right now in person. And so if I do a podcast every week, I'm going to meet a new investor. I'm going to tell you to give me 2 or 3 cool people that you feel belong and could empower the people. And so like that's my way of still like meeting new people, empowering and building, giving the people new relationships and myself, and also giving them something back that they don't see every day.
Right.
I would say, I have mixed children, but the African American culture, we don't have a lot of African American influencers outside of athletes and or
bro,
superstars.
I feel you. Latinos all the way.
Yeah, and so I just feel like I don't include myself in that realm, but I feel that I do have a little. I've been blessed, and so for me to share my blessing and my connections, I think that it's just like my kind of something that makes me whole.
Yeah,
I'm gonna make money. That's just the way I'm gonna figure that out.
Yeah.
But I feel like I enjoy teaching. I enjoy just
and
like
you're good at it.
I appreciate it.
You're really fucking good at it.
Cut it out. But I appreciate the process, and I feel like, you know, there's a lot of people that look like me. We don't have a lot of people that look like me, like helping us. And so I wanted to kind of do this, and in a sense of, you know, if we get shut down, I still have something that could progress, and that it's not a product that I sell and ship. It's literally like I could build the content and teach my skill set. And I feel that, you know, I've taken tons of classes, and so I feel like I could put them all together and give them to the people piece by piece. And so that was why I did that. As far as entrepreneur to entrepreneur, basically is for, you know, if you're experienced, I want to teach you how to scale it.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm going to teach you how to scale your acquisition, meaning how you get good deals. Yeah. I'm going to show you how I basically can go into a zip code and basically form a list and target the homes I like or want, and basically get to the seller as well. So I'm going to get to the owner. Yeah. I'm going to get his phone number. I'm going to call him. So I teach people the progress. And so I also teach people the process of, you know, what if you're talking to somebody who just got divorced? She might be on the phone like, fuck him, come get this house. You know what I'm saying?
All the time.
But then you might be dealing with somebody who just got their parents home because their parents passed away. Yeah. So there's a different tone and different energy that you provide to them. And you're not just like trying to purchase their home. You're more so comforting them as a option in education. Yeah. Hey, I'm here to help you and teach you how you can get out of this. Yep. You know, and so like, I think that we don't know how to do those things. We don't even know the tools to use to get to these deals. Yeah. We want to get in real estate, but we don't know how to get deals. Yeah. The number one skill set that I feel in real estate that you should have is how to find deals. Yeah. Sourcing is key. Absolutely. So you said that you are a bona fide, you are a serial entrepreneur. You know what I mean? I call those bona fide hustlers. And so I feel like I am one, but in order to become successful at whatever hustle you obtain is to be resourceful. Yep. And so
solve those problems.
There you go. So in order to solve those problems, you have to find the people with problems. Yep. And so I teach people how to find the people with problems, and I'm also teaching you how to solve their problem. Amen. And that being stated, now you have the option to either keep the home, to flip it, yep, keep the home to wholesale it, yep, and or buy and hold it as a rental property for yourself. Yep. I teach the BRRRR method in detail. Yep. I teach acquisitions in detail, and I also show you how to calculate repairs. Therefore, that you know how to identify the deals, because it may look like a deal, but it may not be a deal if you don't know how to evaluate the repairs.
Amen to that.
And so that's really what I've focused in on and try to become proficient at entrepreneur-to-entrepreneur.com to really empower all the students and everybody that joins.
Well, I'll tell you, man, the content on there is incredible.
I appreciate
and what you're doing is also incredible, especially for the Black community, right? You know, and it's something that, you know, myself and other minority entrepreneurs have discussed, you know, that there needs to be more Black and Latino entrepreneurs out there being vocal.
We got to get exposed to it, though.
Yeah, amen, man. Right.
And so I feel like this is just a way for you to see it and be it. Yeah. You know, everybody want to be like Mike in the 90s.
But they don't know how.
But at the end of the day, though, it was just one of those things that Mike was the only thing being pushed out there. Yep. And so like today, though, with the internet and everything we have, as you said, own the block, own this space. And so I want to be a liaison for or in the real estate community in Indianapolis.
That's huge, man.
There's many of great guys that do it, and kudos to all of them. I want to be just in that with them. Yeah. I don't need to own it. I just need to be, you know what I mean, on that block. You know what I mean? And so that's really my goal with everything. And it's been pretty dope, man. We've been a month in. We got 150 students. I think that's pretty cool.
That's substantial, man.
Yeah. So, you know, like a lot of people are getting a lot out of it. And so the podcast is just something to really like empower.
Yeah. Empowering others, man.
There it is, man. So let me check for questions, man. If there's no more questions, we are out this thing.
Oh, we're going to finish this bottle then.
Give me a second.
And get some food.
Hey, I feel that. I feel that. Give me 1 second.
Yeah.
Man, no questions.
Wow.
So that's a wrap for today, man. Hey, where can they contact you?
Yeah, you know, you can find me on Facebook, Sahar Montalvo, or on Instagram at Sahar Montalvo. You can find me on there. I think I'm only one of one Sahar Montalvos out there, so shouldn't be too difficult to find my ugly mug on Instagram or Facebook, but that would be the best place to connect with me, and I look forward to connecting with all of you. Entrepreneur to entrepreneur.com. Make sure you guys chime in and get with this guy right here. He's got a ton of value and knowledge to give to all of you. And, bro, so proud of everything that you're doing in this community, man.
Boom. That's a wrap.